Hey prepsters, so welcome again. So in this video, we'll be covering all the important theory and formulas related to LCM and SCF. I'll teach you the shortest tricks to find LCM and HCF and see a lot of types of questions which are related to LCM and HCF, but we cannot recognize them most of the time, right? So LCM and SCF. So I know everyone knows how to find the LCM and SCF of two given numbers or three given numbers, right? I am quite confident that you must know that, right? So what is LCM? As the name suggests, least common multiple or lowest common multiple. So LCM of two numbers, right? It's nothing but the lowest common multiple, right? So for example, for 15 and 20, the lowest common multiple is 60, which means that 60 is divisible by both 15 and 20, right? So we'll see how to find the LCM in the coming slides. What is HCF? Highest common factor. So the highest common factor, let's say two numbers 12 and 15. So what is the highest common factor for those? So highest common factor is nothing but the number which can divide both 12 and 15, excluding 1, right? So we can see that 3 can divide 12 and 15 exactly, and it is the highest number which can divide 12 and 15. So that becomes the highest common factor. Also, we'll see how to find HCF in the coming slides. So before we start calculating LCM and HCF, let me teach you how to find the prime factors, right? So how do you find prime factor for, let me take an example of the number 12. So how do you find the prime factor for the number 12? So 12. So I'll start dividing it with the first prime number, which is 2. If it is not divisible by 2, then I'll move to 3 and then I'll move to 5 and 7 and so on. So 12. So let me start with 2 because it is divisible by 2. So when I divide 12 by 2, I get 6. Again, I divide by 2, I get 3. So now 3 is not divisible by 2. So I have to move to the next number, next prime number. So that is 3. So I get 1. So we are done here. So what are the prime factor of 12? They are 2 into 2 into 3 into 1, which is nothing but 2 square into 3. So got me how we calculate the prime factors? So this is very important, and knowing to calculate prime factors will help you find the LCM and HCF of numbers very quickly. So once now we know how to calculate prime factors, we'll see how to calculate the LCM. So just give me a second, I'll just clear the screen here. Yeah. So to calculate LCM, finding LCM of two numbers. Let us take an example, let's say LCM of 15 and 20. So how do we find the LCM of 15 and 20? So first we'll find the prime factors of 15 and 20. So the prime factors of 15 and 20. 15. So I can't divide it with the first prime number, which is 2. So I'll start with 3. So when I divide it with 3, I get 5. Again, I can't divide 5 with 3, so I'll move to the next prime number, which is 5. So I get 1. So which means 15 is nothing but 3 times 5. Or I can say 3 power 1 into 5 power 1. Similarly, 20. So I can divide it with 2, I get 10. Again, I can divide it with 2, I get 5. I cannot divide it with 3, so I divide it with 5 and I get the quotient as 1. So 20 becomes 2 square into 5. So now LCM is nothing but the product of the prime factors appearing the most number of times in each of them. I know that might be doubtful for you. So tell me one thing. Okay, so let me write here 2 raised to the power 0 and let me write here 3 raised to the power 0. So that is anyways 1, so that doesn't make a difference here. So start with 2 now. So what is the most number of time 2 is appearing? 2 is appearing 0 times in 15 and it's appearing 2 times in 20. So I'll take 2 square. The most number of time each of the prime factor is appearing. Now moving to 3. So 3 is appearing 0 times for 20, but it is appearing 1 time in 15. So I'll take 1 time, which is the max. Similarly 5. So 5 is appearing 1 time in each of them. So 5. So the LCM would be 2 square is 4 times 3 times 5, which is nothing but 60. Clear that? Alright. So once we're done with this, let me teach you how to calculate the HCF of two numbers. So the first step remains the same here. We first find the prime factors. So what would be the prime factors of 18? Divided by 2, I get 9, and then I cannot divide by 2, so I move to 3. Then I get 3. So the prime factors for 18 becomes 2 into 3 the whole square. Similarly for 24, I divide it by 2, I get 12. Again by 2, I get 6. Again by 2, I get 3. I'm done here. So for 24, the prime factors are 2 cube times 3. Clear? So to find the HCF, we need to multiply the prime factors and with the power they appear the least times in each of the number. Which means 2 appears 1 time here and 2 appears 3 times here. So unlike in case of LCM, we would have taken 2 raised to the power 3. Here we have to take the least number of time it is appearing. So I take 2 raised to the power 1. Similarly in case of 3. So 3 is appearing 2 times here, but it is appearing 1 time here. So I'll take just 3. The least number of time it is appearing. Unlike in LCM, I would have taken this. So my HCF becomes 6. Okay. So now let me add one more thing here. So let me say 5 was appearing here. Just example, right? Just an example. And 5 was not appearing here. So in that case, would you have taken this 5 or not? No. Because 5 is, let's say it is appearing 1 time here. So in this case, the maximum power for 5 is 0 here. So I would have taken 5 raised to the power 0, which is negligible, which is 1. Clear? So I think the difference is clear in your head now, that while we find LCM of the numbers, we take the prime factors having the highest power in each of the numbers. Similarly, to calculate the HCF of the two numbers, we take the prime factors appearing the least number of times in the number, right? Okay, so I think that's good with you people. So moving to the properties of LCM and HCF. So the first and the most important property for LCM and HCF is LCM and HCF of two numbers. If we multiply them, that is nothing but it is equal to the product of the two numbers, right? So let's say there are two numbers A and B. I find the LCM of those two numbers, then I find the HCF of two numbers. So now when I multiply the LCM and HCF, that becomes equals to A times B, which is the product of the two numbers. Another property for LCM and HCF. So in case of finding LCM and HCF of fractions, what we do is, to find HCF of fractions, we find the HCF of the numerators and we divide it with the LCM of the denominator. Clear? To find the LCM of a fraction, of fractions, we find the LCM of the numerators and then we divide it with the HCF of the denominator. So you can see a relationship here that when we find HCF, the numerators we find HCF for that, and the denominators we find the LCM for that, and we divide. Similarly, to find LCM, we find the LCM of the numerator and we find the HCF of the denominators and we divide them. So these are two important properties which will be helpful for you in the exam while solving questions. Coming to the types of problems which you might get in LCM and HCF. So what happens most of the time is we can't even identify the questions that they fall in LCM and HCF, but they are questions from LCM and HCF, and I'll show you how. So to find the sum of two, let's say sum of two numbers is given. LCM and HCF is given. Find the sum of reciprocal. So 50% chances that you will find such a question in your aptitude exam. So how do we solve such question? So we are given a plus b because we are given the sum of two numbers. LCM and HCF we are given. So what we saw from the first property that LCM into HCF is equals to product of the two numbers. So from that we can find a into b. So we have a plus b, we have a into b. So now we need to find the sum of the reciprocals, which is 1 by a plus 1 by b, which is nothing but a plus b upon ab. So we have a plus b, we have ab. So we can find the sum of the reciprocals by using this small trick. I think this is clear with you people. So now moving to the second type of problems in LCM and HCF. Type 2 problems. So you'll find questions in the exam saying that find a bigger container which can measure all the three quantities, right? You will be given three quantities or containers will be given, and you have to find a smaller quantity that can measure those three quantities exactly, right? So let's say you're given that you have to measure 120 liters of milk, 240 liters of milk and 360 liters of milk, and you have to find the smallest container which can be used to measure all these three quantities. So in such cases what you need to do is you just need to find the HCF of the three quantities, and the HCF of the three quantities is the smallest quantity container which can measure all these three quantity. Clear? Type 3 problems. So what is type 3 problems? They are basically the bell questions. So let's say in the question you have that three bells start ringing at this point of time, and they ring at, let's say, 15 minutes of interval, 30 minutes of interval and 45 minutes of interval each. And you will be asked that find the time when the three bells will ring together again. So in such questions, you just have to find the LCM of all of them. So you calculate the bell timing into minutes or seconds. You have to convert them into one single unit, whatever you do, minutes or seconds. And then you have to find the LCM of all those. And that is the time when they will ring together again. So we'll have an example on this once we start solving the questions from LCM and HCF. So the last and final type of question in LCM and HCF, that is type 4 problems. Circular runner based problem. So let's say there is a circular track and three runners, they start running. And let's say they're running a marathon, so they'll run for at least 4, 5, 6 rounds. So what you'll be asked is, you'll be asked to find the time when they will meet again, right? So in such cases, you just have to find the LCM of the time taken by each to complete the entire circle. If you find the LCM of that, you will be able to find the time or when they will meet at the starting point again. Clear? So thank you.